Hey everybody, this is Z-Dog, or Zachary, whatever you want to call me, and I am here to give my review of WrestleMania 28. Alright, now, I'm trying to bring up the match card just in case I miss one, but I'm just going to talk about my thoughts on the results, how I think it should have been done, etc. So, the first match opened up with Sheamus and Daniel Bryan for the title. And then Daniel Bryan and AJ had the good luck kiss, and then right after he turned away, Sheamus hit the brogue kick, and the match was over in 18 seconds. Now, for the gimmick that Daniel Bryan has of, just shoving how good he is down everyone's throats, really arrogant, cocky, and I like Daniel Bryan. I was hoping Daniel Bryan would win the match, but I think WWE really needed Sheamus to do it because they haven't had a Rumble winner do anything in 5 years. Plus, they've been pushing Sheamus to be like practically undefeated in any clean matches. 18 seconds was a somewhat decent way to do it because of how Daniel Bryan's gimmick was. It was kind of comical in that way. First match on the card was a good space for a squash match, but I don't think it was a good space for the World Heavyweight Championship match. They could have done the squash maybe a bit longer, maybe like 1 or 2 minutes, and put it later on. But overall, I think it was a good idea. Like, they couldn't have done it with any other match. Well, actually, that's not true, but I'll get into it. Next up was Randy Orton and Kane. This match I went into pretty sure that Randy Orton was gonna win, but obviously I was rooting for Kane. I'm not a Randy Orton fan. I think the match was somewhat decent, better than what we're used to seeing from either one of them. Randy Orton has put on better pay-per-view matches than this one. I was kind of shocked about Kane winning at the end. I thought Orton, when they were up on the top rope, when he was going for the RKO from the top, I thought he was going to hit it and win the match. A bit shocking, but not a bad match. It's acceptable for WrestleMania. I think next up was Big Show and Cody Rhodes. I might be wrong, but this one would have been the second match. Now, keep in mind, I've watched other reviews before making this one, so some of the ideas they stated made more sense to me to kind of explain. Like, Big Show and Cody Rhodes would have been that thing where this would have been a good squash match too, because Cody Rhodes has been making fun of Big Show for about a month now, about how he's had all these embarrassing moments. And it would have just been good irony for Big Show to knock Cody Rhodes out the moment the match started and win the title that way. Like the World Heavyweight title match, it would have made the belt sort of meaningless in a sense, but it would have been a great way to end it. This match I thought was really well done. Of the matches so far, the best one. The spear that Big Show hit, I thought it was a good way to counter the disaster kick, but he messed up the move. Then knockout punch, it wasn't really shocking, but I think Big Show was crying after it. I'm not sure, I watched it last night. But it was good, decent match. Next was the Divas match, which Maria Menounos, Kelly Kelly, Beth Phoenix, and Eve. Compared to what you see of the Divas on Raw and SmackDown every day, a lot better. They got more time. They're showing just about as much ability as they usually do, but they have more time to do it. It wasn't really shocking to me that Kelly Kelly and Maria won the match, because there will be no point to bringing a celebrity into it just to lose. So this match was not really good, but I liked having a match with a story rather than having, the pillow fight match or something that they just threw in there just because they want to have a Divas match. And it was in a decent spot on the card, not like right before the last match. Up next was the end of an era match between Undertaker and Triple H with Shawn Michaels as the referee, and this by far was the match of the night. Before I go into what happened in the match, I'm going to state that the only disappointment I had was that the Hell in a Cell was not actually used. Like, Undertaker and Triple H have been known for giving all these big moments, throwing people through the top, over the edge, through the walls, things like that. I expected a lot of blood in this match. I thought they would do it. But it was disappointing that they didn't really need the cell, but I felt that having it there kind of made it feel more, it was easier to focus on the match itself just because they were confined. Really good match. It was a long match, but I was entertained the entire time. The way Shawn Michaels was showing emotion throughout all the parts, trying to stop the match, telling Triple H and Undertaker to stop delivering punishment to each other. There was some blood, and I believe it was intentional. Triple H outside the ring when he got hit with the stairs, I believe he did bleed a tiny bit, just for some effect. By the end of the match, you couldn't tell though. Then, what else throughout the match? This was the match that if you're gonna go back and watch any one, this is the one you go to because it was the only match that you could actually be cheering out loud to and rooting for the person you wanted to win, because it was that unpredictable. Some points you thought Triple H was gonna win, some points you thought the Undertaker was gonna win. Maybe a little too much. There was a lot of finishing moves. I don't think any guy could take that much. But Undertaker had Michaels in the submission, which was really caught up by surprise. Kept him out of the match. Then Undertaker took out another referee. It was really good. I would give this 5 out of 5 stars, but maybe less just because the cell wasn't used the right way. Undertaker did win the match with a tombstone, and the streak continues. Whether or not he has another match, I'm not sure. Likely so. I think they might announce like a year in advance a triple threat match, maybe. It's possible. Alright, up next was Team Johnny and Team Teddy. 6-on-6 match. I think it should have been elimination. I thought they were going to make it that way, but by the way that there was no elimination within the first few minutes, I was sure that it wasn't that way. There was a few good moments. I didn't think that David Otunga even got tagged into the match. I might be wrong, but I don't think I saw him get tagged in. Other than that, the other 11 guys were tagged in. The only part really worth mentioning is the ending, which Zack Ryder was about to do the Broski boot to Dolph Ziggler, and then, or the Miz, I'm not sure actually. And then Eve was about to go do it with him. And then he tried to get Eve out of the ring because he would have got DQ'd for that. And then while he was distracted, the Miz came in, hit a skull-crushing finale, and won the match. And then the ending, Eve kicked Zack in the balls. What do you expect? And it kind of overshadowed the fact of who actually won the match, which was Team Johnny. That was who I was hoping was going to win. I think John Laurinaitis is really good for TV. It is entertaining. The way he is entertaining. How he feuds with people. Whereas Teddy Long kind of just always roots for the good guys. He's predictable. I just don't like his attitude. He doesn't really do anything. His dancing is alright. Whatever, that's the only thing I really like about Teddy Long. I think John Laurinaitis is a better fit for GM of both shows. Let's see what's next. Oh yeah, Punk and Jericho. Now before the match, John Laurinaitis went up to Punk and was like, if you get carried away, you're gonna lose the belt. If you get disqualified, the belt goes to Jericho. And the match happened, and I instantly thought that this match would either be just as good as Triple H and Taker, or it would be maybe a little bit less. I don't think it could get any better than that match. I knew that no match was going to keep up with it. And then Punk and Jericho's match, lots of pure wrestling. I like the way Jericho tried to egg Punk on to get DQ'd by saying, like, how's your father? Your sister's a drug addict. All those things really added to the match. Punk at one point almost hit Jericho with a chair, but held himself back. And then when Punk locked in the Anaconda Vice and Jericho kept kneeing him to try and get out, I liked the way Punk shifted so Jericho couldn't knee him. I didn't think that in wrestling that they would actually do something to shift to avoid the moves, because I always thought, like in the past, like with the Anaconda Vice, that you could easily just knee him in the back to get out of the move, and no one's ever done it before. I thought that when he did it, he would actually succeed in escaping the move. I didn't think that they would actually shift Punk, because there's ways that every wrestler with a finishing move could adjust the move so that it could be more painful and harder to escape. The match ended with that Anaconda Vice, Punk beating Jericho. And I am a CM Punk fan. I like Chris Jericho. And due to Jericho still being able to stick around till the summer, I think that it would have been a good time for Jericho to win the belt and then go on to lose it right before he leaves to Punk. Because the point of having him return is to make him solidify himself as the best in the world. There was no point to having him return if he's going to lose at Elimination Chamber and at WrestleMania. If he didn't win an Elimination Chamber, I thought he'd win at Mania. Because, you know, the celebrities, the guys coming back should always, well, normally do always get the win. And so far, I rate that it's probably the second best match of the night, right below Undertaker and Triple H. And then we go to The Rock and John Cena. Both of them were had musical performances before their entrances. MGK for Cena and Flo Rida for The Rock. I don't know why, but the crowd didn't seem as into it as I thought they'd be. It's another thing, I couldn't really understand what they were saying half the time. Like, I saw a few people flipping off Cena during his entrance. And also, Cena sported a new t-shirt, which he seems to come out with every couple months. Now for this match, I was kind of back and forth on who I wanted to win before it happened. Like, I think that I thought The Rock was going to win because it's his hometown. But WWE would make a smarter move by having Cena win the match, because he's actually sticking around. The Rock's just going back to movies. And Cena has been there doing work for how long, and The Rock's just sitting there doing nothing. Why not have Cena win the match? The crowd wasn't too into it to actually riot should The Rock lose. The match in general was decent. I did at one point overhear The Rock say, "I'm gonna do the DDT," because they panned the camera right on him when he said it. And it kind of lost it for me because I didn't know if he was actually going to do it, and then he hit the DDT after the bear hug or headlock or whatever they were in. And in the end, Cena was going for the people's elbow. The Rock pops back up, hits the rock bottom, and wins the match. And Cena sitting on the outside, disappointed, sitting the way he always does when he loses something. And I just think that it would have been a smarter move to have Cena win the match. Having The Rock win has no purpose in just making the people who watch the WrestleMania for the first time in years just to see The Rock win. It made them happy, it made the hometown happy, but in general it's not doing anything for WWE and John Cena because The Rock's not going to be there. He's not a full-time superstar. But because of the way the match was put out, and it's two biggest guys in WWE, that I'll put the match third in the ranks. First is Triple H Taker, second Punk and Jericho, and third is Cena and Rock. And this WrestleMania was a lot better than 27. I would recommend going back and watching it. It wasn't a bad WrestleMania, and it's one I wouldn't mind watching again. If you don't want to watch the whole thing, you could be perfectly fine just watching Taker and Triple H and think it was an amazing pay-per-view based off that. Those are my thoughts on WrestleMania. Comment what you think.